Hi everybody, this is Cat Games, and welcome back to Crossout. And today I'm gonna dedicate a video to how to earn coins in Crossout faster. And I'm gonna be covering every single way I so far found to increase profit, etc., etc. So, first, we're gonna be stating the obvious. If you want to become richer, you can buy packs and items in the shop. I will go into which pack will have the most value in a moment. And you can also, of course, buy the scanner. The scanner is active for 30 days for 10 euros, and I will tell you guys how the value adds up because you have a daily challenge with 40 coins as a reward. So you can see right here, uh, I think I actually completed it already, but you only have to do 2 battles. You don't have to win them or anything, you just have to play 2 matches a day, and you'll get 40 coins. Times 30, it does already add up. And I will do the exact math again later into this video. That said, the first and easiest way for free-to-play players to add a little more of an income to their grinding is by adding a fuel barrel to their builds. If you check in the trading market, it's 2 coins. So, well, you don't really want to buy it, but you can actually obtain it by simply going into battle. And it is which one is it again? Here it is. Get the shotgun mission. You can either get a radiator, shotgun, or the fuel barrel from this mission. You can also obtain it as a random drop from any of the other missions. Basically, you have 25% chance to get a chord in this one, 25% to get a carjack, 25% to get the radar, and 25% to get a random part of common rarity. Per end of the battle, those are basically the odds of getting each of these. So you have 25% to getting one of the random commons around, and that does include the fuel barrel. So you are not forced to necessarily play this one. It does just simply increase the chance on getting it. And once you got it, if you survive and win the battle with the fuel barrel on your build, you will receive 5 fuel. And that means to get to the minimum amount of selling, so 100 fuel, you need to win and survive 20 matches. But the 20 matches does yield you roughly 6.5 to 7 coins. And of course, all the prices are on PC. In comparison, console players do get roughly similar amounts of money compared to how expensive the other parts is. Their economy is simply inflated by quite a large margin. And once you actually got that and got enough coins to get yourself a rare, I highly suggest getting yourself a fuel tank as soon as possible. You might want to get a radar and or a cabin first, but at least in your first 5 rares, get the fuel tank. The fuel tank does exactly the same as the fuel barrel, but it adds an additional 10. Um, of course, you do not get any benefits for having more than one fuel barrel and or one fuel tank, but you can use both the fuel tank and the fuel barrel for a total income of 15 fuel per one match with both still attached to your build. And if you are worried, like, won't I be a freaking bomb or something, you can basically go with a very simple layout. I'm just gonna grab something really quickly. So let's say you have your cabin and wheel setup. I'm gonna grab some medium wheels. I'm not even gonna bother making a good build. But if you have your build around here, you can simply grab some small plates and attach it to the back. And then attach your fuel tank and fuel barrel right here. So they do have a higher chance of getting shot off, but if the people happen to hit this, they will simply get disconnected and they will not explode. Alternatively, you can put them under your cabin like this, but I suggest only doing that with the fuel barrel or the fuel tank, because if you do both, at least one of them is gonna stick out and you're gonna be a bit of a bomb. So once you messed up some coins, you have 2 options. So the first one is start getting yourself the rares you want and make a build that you want to make. And even though I'm all in for that, I actually have a slightly better suggestion with option number 2, is going to play the market a little bit using some rare crafting margins. So to do that, we're going to go to crossoutdb.com. This is a website. You can just go to any web browser, fill it in, and then you go to crafting right there, and you click rare. Then you go click on this crafting margin thing, so you can see the crafting margin. And for this to work, of course, you do have to unlock the certain faction to the level. So DT Cobra is, I think, a level 3 or level 4 scavenger part. So you need to be level 10 with the engineers and then level 3 or 4 with the scavengers before you can start doing this. But you can buy all the crafting materials for 28.29 coins. This is excluding any grinding, so if you grind as well, this will be even cheaper. And the current sell price is 37.92, and even with the buy price 35.00. If you attract taxes from this, so the buy price, it will be 31.5. So 31.5 is still more than the crafting cost. So here you would, even if you directly sell them for the amount of that it is getting bought for, you will have a small margin of profit. Of course, you need to wait the full crafting time every time you want to do this, otherwise your profit is pretty much gone immediately. And you do have to, well, assume the market. So if something happens and the buy price suddenly goes down, or the crafting cost goes up, then you have to reevaluate. So you basically, after you make a part, go back to crossoutdb.com and take a look at what other part is have the high crafting margins. Also check here because some of these are actually really expensive. So they're up here. If you want to craft it instead of buying it, it will basically cost you 9 additional coins. Because if you were to even if you like here, like if you would sell the crafting materials, you would get more than when you would sell the actual weapon. So you would lose coins on the exchange no matter what. So it also says buy when you see your craft or buy. And this applies to any part at any rarity. So if you got enough coins to like go up the chain, you can start doing this stuff with stuff like the Colossus. Your crafting cost 292, and then if you buy it, if like the buy cost is still gonna be above 300, even because even if taxes get applied on the buy price, you're still at 297. So even then you will get 5 coins profit. But if you go for and wait a little bit, you can get the 30-ish coins of profit. And again, it just applies to every single rarity. And by playing the market a little bit, it takes a while, but you can get coins while playing. Because think about it, like you can craft and then immediately go play in the meanwhile. So the crafting thing is making you money, and in the meanwhile you will be grinding extra resources towards the next rare you're gonna craft, and then the after you sold this rare, the the profit that you have, you basically save that up, but then you just repeat it. You keep on repeating it, and just go by going this website and using your money wisely like this does help quite a bit. Of course, for this to work, you do have to use your coins wisely. So, instead of like going towards a part and you're like, oh, this factor looks cool, I will buy it, try it, and if I don't like it, I will sell it. You must immediately, well, stop doing that kind of stuff. If you want to know how a weapon performs, ask people in the general chat. So you can just go here, ask people how does it perform. Go look up some videos on YouTube, preferably mine, of course, but you can pretty much find any information about any gun on the YouTube channels of all the content creators, and you can get a feeling of what each gun does, and whether it is actually worth to get at that moment of time or not. Because if you buy a gun and then sell it at the exact same price, you still lose 10% on the trade. So in this case, if you would buy and sell it for 34.26, you would still lose 3.4 3 coins. And 3.43 coins. That's still 3-4 matches of grinding worth, basically. Like, if you want to do it, you can do it, but you will lose coins on every time you buy a new part. So try to minimize the amount of parts you're buying and selling on anything else that is, well, as mentioned, the crafting system, like trying to make profit. Uh, that's the only real way to like earn coins off this market, just by, well, again, playing the market. So for the paying players that want to get a advantage of economy, we're gonna go to crossoutdb.com/packs, and we're gonna check out all of these values right here because they have a really nice spreadsheet, as you can see, that basically says whatever is in every pack. So first up, show content. You can see all of the functional parts and the value of each part. So for the buy price and sell price as well. Oh, actually, if you were actually, this is the buy price. This is the sell price. Sorry, guys. And so you can actually subtract all of these numbers from the total amounts. For like, for example, if you want to keep the stepper spider, you can remove it from the equation that you can see right here. But you basically can see the value of every pack. So the arachnophobia, for every euro you spend on it, you get an average of 142.46 coins. Well, with the arsonist, for every euro you spend, you only get 85 coins. Currently the Corrida is one of the best value packs with 160. So surprisingly enough, the Insomnia pack actually gives you quite a lot with over 100 as well. As a general rule of thumb, you only wanna spend money on packs that at least give 110 coins per euro. So for example, the Wild Hunt is not worth it. The Wasteland Warrior is absolutely not worth it. With a total sum very similar to the Wild Hunt, but being 30 euros instead of 20 euros, as you guys can see, like significantly more expensive. Inventor is also again not worth it. But here you can see like the Horseman Apocalypse sets being pretty good in terms of value. 140 on the normal variant and 111 on the deluxe edition. The deluxe edition does come with the new garage as an additional piece of value. Oh, here you can see, by the way, the discontinued packs. But again, you can see what value there is, and then you just see, okay, what is my budget? If my budget is 30 bucks, you can go with the Corrida. If it's only 25, you probably want to get the drive pack. If it is 20, you actually probably want to get the Insomnia pack because there's not really anything very good under the $25 mark. That's the Insomnia here. And overall, they can give you a pretty nice boost to your economy. But of course, you also have that scanner. And in comparison to these packs, you do of course have the coin packs, but these are nowhere near as efficient. The 100 euro coin pack only gives 75 coins per euro, and even the least value pack, Wasteland Warrior, is at 68 coins per euro. Like in comparison to the Wasteland Warrior, the 25 euro pack gives 66 coins per euro. So the Wasteland Warrior, the least valued pack, still, well, for 5 euros more, you do get 5 times 66 and then 30 times 2 and additional coins. But there's one more thing, of course, that is the scanner. And the scanner, I have to say, it is only worth it if you play every day and play at least those 2 matches a day. Once you do, you actually get a really good value out of this thing. So it is 10 euros, and you got the daily chain with 40 coins of reward for 30 days. So 40 coins times those 30 days, you come out at 1,200 coins. And if you divide it by the 10 euros, you actually get a value of 120 coins per euro. And that is better than the Insomnia. And then we're not talking about the other 2 bonuses yet. So for 10 euros, you actually get quite a lot of value out of this scanner. And of course, I do have to say, like, yes, it is a free-to-play game, so you are not forced to pay any for any of this stuff. But the developers need to get food on the table as well, so I do think it is okay to support them with stuff like this, as long as the value is high enough. So while I would say like the Wasteland Warrior should be removed from the store because it's not enough value, things like the scanner are actually things that I do actually support. So other than of course the pretty good value in terms of coins, the reputation gain is increased by 50%, so you level up faster, which is pretty good for an early player because if you can want to start doing those like crafting flips on the market, you do of course need the faction levels to actually craft the parts that are currently valued the most. So you basically need level 5 or more on all of the 3 basic factions past the engineers to really get going. You also increase the amount of resource gained in each mission by 50% and extends the resource limit by 50% as well. So for the people that don't know, there's actually a maximum amount of resources you can earn um, per week, but this one increases by 50%, but it also increases the earnings by 50%. So it basically means you still hit the limit just as fast as anyone else, but you will have gotten 50% more resources in the meanwhile. Again, this really helps with getting started at first, getting your economy going. And once you leveled up far enough, you can actually start doing various missions, so including cutting the wires, batteries, and various raids. And that's where we're gonna get into right now. So after doing some different grinding missions in PvP, I did some calculations and I come with a different values for the different kinds of missions. So first up, we got the get the different parts missions. They will give scrap metal and cabins. And note that these are all with scanner on. So I did not take that into consideration, but you will earn 2/3 of what I earn basically averagely. So 28 scrap metal for the current price is about 1.1 coin per match. The 18 wires yields 1.44 coins. And to be honest, the average earning of the different common parts is not enough to make up for the difference in price with the wires. So generally, the wires is slightly more profitable. The batteries is at the least valuable with only 1.03 coins per match if you have these 7 batteries, and that just makes it not worth to do. So first up, you can do pretty much any of the normal missions, but I think the cannon one is actually the most profitable because if you have boosters, pretty popular, and the Avenger is also a decent priced part. Otherwise, to get the shotgun, those two are the best priced. Like the machine gun doesn't really have any good ones. Okay, to get a cannon, you do have the Huntsman and like small wheels to make up for it, but overall, to get the machine gun one is the least valuable. And after that comes to get the wheels. Then after that gets the cabin, and then I think like the cannon is probably your best bet between all of these. But once you can do wires, I do suggest you start doing the wires, get the wires mission because it is more consistent and earns you just a little bit more overall. Okay, so next up is the rate table, and I actually have a little table going on here with different values, and I did some calculations. And no, the thing in the background, by the way, is for something for the invasions. But after again doing some intense calculations with different tables and etc., I have concluded that currently the most rewarding raid to do is actually the medium raid for plastic. And after that, you go to the hard rate for electronics and copper, which pretty much give the same reward, but the electronics one is harder to sell than the copper one because again you get a lot of copper compared to the amount of electronics earned. But with the reduction of the fuel and etc., these things can all become quite a lot more valuable. Invasion is also a pretty good option if you don't like the normal raids. They are a bit quicker to do, but if you want to actually make a good profit on it, you actually need a build similar to this thing, and you're gonna need at least 12,000 power score to get the maximum profit. Because the maximum profit you can get is 180 um, copper per match without the scanner. With the scanner, it's actually 270 out of a single invasion, which is more than any of the normal copper medium raids. Note that there are some long and short variants of all the raids, so you can actually have some slight differences in earning if you have one of the shorter taking raids, but the invasion is always short. So that's one of the advantages of the invasion. It is less efficient than the other ones, and of course you need to have a very high power score vehicle to actually do it. But it is a pretty time efficient way to actually grind out the raids. And of course, I do have to point out that there are challenges here for the engineer badges, which some of them do include invasions. And in terms of the exchange, the plastics one is definitely the most valuable. Simply because the plastics are just sold for 20 coins, and that's just a stupidly high amount. And just because of that sheer value, the plastics, like as you can see, 500 wires. So this one has to be sold for at least 10 coins to be worth it, but it is less than 8 coins. And then again, I think compared, just the plastics one is the most variable. Even compared to electronics, the plastics one does come in with a slightly higher income. So if you do the engineer, save up for the plastic one and send them in. Another thing to point out is gonna be the different containers, and generally they are more or worth it to sell these and then buy the part you want. For example, the veteran container may hold any untradeable rare part except for wheels, step wheels, and dungeon and fire starter spot. And in my case, I mean, like these are not tradable, but minus container, I mean, parameters. You can see 200 course low probability, epic with low probability, and a average engineer standard average low probability, average probability, but a high probability to get a rare untradeable part. And that's basically just if you have a pretty good chance of getting one of those, but it currently sells for 38 coins, which is decent in terms of value. If you go check on the market for all the rare parts, you can see 38, 35, 40. You can pretty much, if you sell that crate, you can buy the rare if you're choosing, but you might have to pitch in 1 or 2 coins. But in return, it is a tradable part. It is a part that you can use in crafting, and overall, it is much handier to just keep as the amount of untradables as low as possible. Because if you get a weapon or whatever, and you end up not liking it, you can at least sell it, and like you have the value out of it. If you open the minus container, you're stuck with the untradeable part, and you can only throw it away. You cannot even scrap it for resources, which is kind of sad, but kind of to be expected. And also the probability, like, don't go buy these at all. They're really not worth it. It is really just the best to sell any container you get. That's it. That's all I got for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this guide, and I hope it will allow you to earn more coins, get a bit richer, and overall just get the builds that you want with the parts that you want to use. And that's it. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.